Welcome to level 4 of ending the vicious cycle of unforgiveness. If you haven't watched level 1, 2, and 3, I will encourage you to go on our YouTube channel and you will be able to watch the 3 levels before this. But this level 4 is the level of forgiving others. At this point, you have now understood the concept of forgiveness, because level 3 talks about forgiving yourself. And in that level, I said you cannot give. The key thing in level 3 was you cannot give what you do not have, meaning you cannot forgive others if you have not been able to forgive yourself. So the first thing is for you to first of all experience what forgiveness is, and that is self-forgiveness. Then after that, you will be able to forgive other people. Now, level 4 is, there are 3 very important things in level 4. Or let me say 4 things, but actually 4 things. I will say 4 things at this point. The first thing that you need to really understand in level 4 is the acknowledgement. Acknowledgement of what? Acknowledgement of 3 basic things when it comes to forgiving other people. The first thing is the brutal realization. And the second thing is the candid realization. The third thing is the fact that whatever has happened is unacceptable. Now, when you look at forgiving others, forgiveness is not about dismissing what a perpetrator has done to you. And I think this is where a lot of people get it wrong. When it comes to forgiveness, suddenly they think that by forgiving someone, that means they're dismissing the fact that what that person did maybe did not happen. Or they are dismissing the fact that maybe they were wrong. But that's not forgiveness. That is not what it is. So if your fear is that, well, this person really did this to me, because of that, I'm not going to forgive them, because I'm not going to dismiss the fact that that has nothing to do with forgiveness. It's not dismissing the fact. Now, acknowledgement. Forgiveness begins with an honest acknowledgement of what has really happened. If you truly want to forgive someone, you must come to the place where you don't have to deny it. You don't have to put it under the carpet. You don't have to convince yourself that it did not happen. A couple of weeks ago, I was dealing with a man who is struggling, and problem is carrying the energy of unforgiveness. And I said to him, can you share a little bit to me about your childhood? And the first thing he said, I don't want to go there. I do not want to remember anything. So that I do not want to remember anything, which means there are deep hurts inside him that he thinks he do not want to remember them, but he's actually living them, because he is living the very things that were done to him, which he has not forgiven. He is living them, but saying that I do not want to go there. So forgiveness begins with an honest acknowledgement of what really happened to you. You must be able to acknowledge that this really happened to me. Now, this is where the big show is. Brutal realization. Brutal realization. What does that mean? Forgiveness continues with a brutal realization that what happened in the past actually happened. It actually happened. What happened to you actually happened. And that there is nothing that you can do to undo it. It has already happened. There is nothing you can do to undo what has already happened. So it is important in the process of forgiving people to come to this place where you say to yourself, this thing has already happened, and there is no way I can make this person to undo it. There is no way I can make this person to undo it, and there is no way I can undo it. That is the brutal realization of the very act itself. Now, candid realization. The candid realization in forgiving others is forgiveness continues with a candid realization that whether the perpetrator acted out of clumsiness, because whether the perpetrator acted out of clumsiness, out of ignorance, whether they were truly nasty, or malicious with a definite intention to cause harm, their motives are largely irrelevant. So sometimes people come to the place they say, I will not forgive because he acted malicious. This guy was just nasty. Or maybe, well, he was just ignorant, so I don't want to think about it. Or he was just clumsy. None of these things actually, the motive does not really matter. What matters is that you owe yourself forgiveness. You want to let go of that baggage. You want to let go of that burden. You want to let go of that oppression. If someone comes and put a bag of cement or rocks on your head, you're not going to think, oh, did they act clumsy? Were they nasty? None of those things are irrelevant. Like, what is relevant to you is that you pick up the bag that is on your head and put it down. That's what forgiving others is. And the fact that you forgiving others does not mean God is not going to deal with them. It does not mean they are not going to face with their own challenges. No. But what you're doing is that you love yourself so much and you owe yourself freedom. So that's where the candid realization comes. You owe yourself to be free. Someone use a knife, stab you, you're not going to leave the knife in the place and say, until they can come and tell me sorry. No. You get the knife off first. You treat yourself. Then you can look after that at some point. But people carry unforgiveness because they are waiting for the person to come and realize that, oh, I'm sorry, what I did to you was wrong. I am sorry. That person may not even know that they've done that. They may not even know the hurt that has been caused. They may not know it. But you owe yourself forgiveness. You do. Now, unacceptable. Forgiveness then continues with the acknowledgement that what happened to you was unacceptable and cannot be dismissed or made acceptable. That is, it's unacceptable. A lot of people have come to me, they've accepted that the act was, well, it wasn't that bad. That's not what forgiveness is. It was bad. What that person did to you was wrong. It was bad. Don't make it look good. People will say, well, I think it did not happen. I think it did not happen. That's not going to help you. It did happen. It was bad. Don't make it acceptable. Because the moment you make it acceptable, then you will repeat the same act. Don't make it acceptable. It was bad. And you will not continue to hurt yourself for another person's action. This is not acceptable. I am not going to dismiss it, but the act of forgiving others is I am not going to continue to hurt myself because of another person's actions or because of another person's life of complete unawareness of themselves. This is what you need to come to the place where you say, I do not accept this act. I will not dismiss it. It happened to me, and it is not acceptable, but I'm not going to let this destroy me. I'd rather let this person go. There are a lot of people who are carrying many, many people in their lives, and they're carrying the energies of these people because they're carrying the hurt and the pains of these people. And these people are living their life, and here you are living the life of that person. I think that is what you need to stop when it comes to forgiving others. So forgiving others have really nothing to do with what they have done. It has to do with you loving yourself enough that you can set yourself free. So this is the summary. Acknowledgement, brutal realization, candid realization, and the act was unacceptable. The summary is that this level is understanding that forgiveness is not a sign of weakness. This is important. Forgiveness is not a sign of weakness or a sign of remaining vulnerable. Forgiveness is not a sign of weakness or remaining vulnerable to the abuse. You don't have to remain vulnerable to that abuse. It is actually the opposite. It is the measure of a person's true courage and strength when they have the ability to say enough is enough and understand when the time when it is time to move on. The aspect of level 4 is all about don't think that you who is forgiving you are weak or you are remaining vulnerable to the abuse. The action is that it is the measure of your strength. It is the measure of your courage for you to be able to say enough is enough and I want to move on. Enough is enough and I want to move on. Let go of the person. Let go of that energy. Let go of the pain. You can keep the experience, which is going to help you in life, but let go of that pain and say to yourself, enough is enough. I am moving on. That is level 4 of breaking the vicious cycle of unforgiveness. Let me know if you have any questions on the comment, and don't forget to subscribe.